By now, many of us are aware a woman's fertility takes a hit in her early 30s, with the decline speeding up after 35. So just around the time many women are making headway in their careers, they're also worrying about starting a family. But much has changed in the past decade, and there are new valid choices for women. Here to tell us about them is Rachel Lehmann-Haupt, author of In Her Own Sweet Time, Egg Freezing and the New Frontiers of Family. Rachel, so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a topic that you know intimately, not just as a journalist, but also as a woman. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience?
Yeah, well, when I was in my early 30s, I looked around and I noticed that none of my friends were getting married and none of them were having kids. We were all focused on our career. We were putting our economic power ahead of our procreative power. And some of us, I started asking questions and I started wondering about all the new potential choices we had, including advanced reproductive technology and egg freezing, which at that point was still experimental. And I decided that women didn't have a roadmap, so I wanted to write a modern roadmap for women, which is what In Her Own Sweet Time became.
And you also froze your eggs, is that correct?
I did. When I was 37, I had not found my love of my life or parenting partner yet, and so decided to freeze my eggs so, I would have that opportunity to have a child if I wanted to in my late 30s and early 40s.
And today you are a mother.
I am a mother.
And you penned it DIY motherhood?
I call it DIY motherhood. I had a child on my own as a single mother by choice, or what I call a DIY mom. Yeah. I hadn't found my parenting partner, and I decided that I could do it. And mostly I could do it because I'm like many women who are having children on their own now. I have economic independence. Right. So it was an advantage for me to put my economic power ahead of my procreative power because it allowed me to support a child on my own. And I think that's what's really interesting about DIY motherhood is that, we're showing that single mothers are sometimes looked down on because, many single mothers don't have economic power. But I think that our new group of DIY mom are showing that, we're a sign of economic stability, of women's economic power.
Absolutely, and a new type of family.
A new type of modern family.
I want to share some numbers because you're clearly, you're in the curve there. It seems that the percentage of women having their first child between the ages of 30 and 34 reached 21% in 2014. That's up from 16.5% in 2000. That's a big jump, and it seems to be that continues to be the case.
I think it's just only going to go up. On the one hand, it's good news because more and more women are in college now. More and more women are getting educated. We're building our careers. So obviously because of that, we're postponing marriage. We're postponing having children. But on the flip side of it, it's also not so good because 1 in 8 couples now do experience infertility.
Right.
And a lot of that is age-related infertility.
Right.
Because we're postponing. And a lot of that, thank God there are new choices like being able to freeze your eggs to, buy yourself a little time. But on the other hand, companies still need to provide women and men, families, with better family leave policies.
So there are these demographics that are happening sort of on the personal front, on the domestic front, in the family sphere that aren't really, and the rest of the world hasn't really caught up.
No, I don't think that companies have caught up to supporting the new modern family.
Right, and that's the next step. Now, I don't have a daughter. I have 2 sons. You have a son. But if you had a daughter, would you advise her? I often think if I had a daughter, I would give her as a college graduation present an egg freezing cycle. She would probably look at me like I was crazy and think it was the last thing in the world she was thinking about. But imagine the freedom that would give her.
I absolutely would recommend it, which is why I think more and more companies should think about covering it on their health insurance plans. Because if you're 25 and egg freezing is covered on your health insurance plan, why not take advantage of that and do it, because you have no idea the trajectory of your life.
Absolutely. Nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Absolutely, especially because there's so much secondary infertility. So, many women run up to they have their first baby at 38, and then at 42 they can't get pregnant. Imagine if you had your eggs frozen from 25.
And a good point to make, something that you point out in your book, is that many women who read glossy magazines about celebrities and see that, my favorite actress is 46 and just had her first child, doesn't realize that is happening from a donor egg.
Correct. Most pregnancies now of women over, in their 40s are from donor eggs. So that's another advantage of egg freezing.
Right.
You can actually have your own biological child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.